um, optimize their health. And that is why hopefully you are here tonight, is you want to know how to not only look beautiful from the outside in, but from the inside out, because what is on the inside really does make a difference. So, um, I got started. In you're going to hear about some products that I got to hear about 12 years ago, 11 years ago, and I have not been able to stop talking about them because of what I've been able to see not only in my family, but in my practice and in my friends. And my goal has always been, as I got started into medicine, my goal has always been, how do we slow down the aging process? And how do I help you not need me as a physician as much? Go figure. But how do I keep you healthy and out of my office? And so, as a DO, my goal was really to combine Eastern and Western medicine. And so that is really what you'll get to hear a little bit tonight, too, because I don't believe we need to wait for a disease to happen to then talk about it or to put a game plan together. What we need to do is know what we are maybe prone to because of our genetics. But understand this, up to 95% of your genetics, you have a key part on how it is expressed. Yes, you heard me that, heard it right. So only 5%, maybe we have to just kind of struggle through those to keep those turned off. But up to 95% of your genes, how your lifestyle is, can make a difference on whether or not genes turn on or off. And so the key part tonight that I want you to be thinking about here is, how do I prevent disease? How do I prevent it from starting as well as progressing? And if you have ideas after this presentation, then we did our due diligence and we have one. Okay. And I'm excited to share this with Isa tonight because she holds the cards on so many things that I help my patients with, because a lot of them will come and want to know how to help things on their face and their neck. And I get to tell them there's so many things that we could do from the inside out. So our skin, being our largest organ in our body, is telling what's going on the inside. So with that, you'll hear more from me in a little bit, but I want you to hear from Isa just a little bit about her background before we get started.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melody. I love sharing with you and or collaborating with you and sharing with each of you that are on this call tonight. So I'm a holistic esthetician. I've been practicing since 2004. And ever since I got into aesthetics, I was looking at my practices were focused on the inside out approach. So, supplementation. I didn't know about activation at the time, but really looking at antioxidant support and diet and, things like that for aging optimally. But a lot of the issues that I would see people coming into my practice with, whether it was extremely reactive skin, a lot of redness in the skin, or perhaps a lot of adult breakouts, hormonal breakouts, things like that, premature signs of aging. When I learned about oxidative stress, Marisa Maggio Harrelson introduced this to me. When I learned about this from a client, and I said, oh my goodness, we can address this at a cellular level. And that was something that just clicked for me. And I've been so passionate ever since about sharing this with my clients. So when someone comes in and they're asking about, tightness of the skin, Dr. Melody commented, my neck, what can I do about my neck or under my arms or, my jowls, things like that. I'm always going at this from the cellular approach because a lot of people are already using quality skincare. And so we'd like to share with you a bit about NRF2 activation and the difference that that can make. And I'm just going to share a few slides with you here. Great. So I just want to say again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. So our company is called LifeVantage. And if this is new to you, Dr. Melody, are you moving that?
I am. Am I able? Is it showing our slideshow yet as
Oh,
you were?
you go ahead. You go
Okay,
ahead. Yes.
perfect. Okay, let's do that. Let's see here.
So our company is called LifeVantage, and we are the activation company. Activation is so different than supplementation, and if this is the first time that you are hearing about this, you're in for such a treat. Next slide, please, Dr. Melody. Great, and you can keep going. So our company started in 2005. This concept came to us, and we'll explain a little bit to you about that ABC investigative report. But what we looked at with oxidative stress is why why does oxidative stress get out of balance in the body? Why do some of us have more of a toxic burden than others? And it gets out of balance when life gets out of balance, and that can be everyday occurrences from diet to stress, external, internal, to medications, aging, just the aging process, lack of sleep. We all know that as we age, one poor night of sleep can really affect you for a whole day. Our environment, and over 85,000 toxins have been introduced into our society since the Industrial Revolution. And this is something that is really we need to take a look at is how can we reduce that toxic burden. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so oxidative stress, just like we sit here in that ABC report that we'll speak to in a moment, oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not a disease, but it is at the center, at the root of all of these major disease processes. And so free radicals, when they go unchecked, affect every organ of the body. And you can read about different conditions on there on that wheel. And when I look at that, I know people that are younger than me that are struggling with a lot of these issues right now. I love the analogy on the side of the apple. And in skincare, when a new vitamin C would come out, a topical vitamin C, we would cut the apple open and we would put vitamin C on half of it and watch the other half oxidize. And we would say, wow, look at that. When you apply this topically to the skin or to the apple here, we're looking at how it slows down that oxidation. Well, that's what happens to our cells as we're aging. And again, everything from the water that we're drinking to the quality of the food that we're eating, the benzene and the gas. If we're flying a lot, we're exposed to more. So this is something to really pay attention to. This is why we should care. So in 2005, you can advance that, Dr. Melody. In 2005, an ABC investigative report was released, and John Quinones, Emmy Award-winning journalist, went on national television and he had his blood tested. He heard about this science that was being looked at by a small biotech company at the University of Colorado in Denver. And they were studying different antioxidant therapies. And this one specific synergistic blend that they stumbled upon actually activated a pathway in the body in which the body started creating its own antioxidants. And this was phenomenal. And if you have not seen this ABC investigative report yet, please ask the person that invited you to this Zoom tonight right after you hop off. You must take a look at it. And it's phenomenal. And this was 2005. So I love saying, thinking that this was before we are where we are today. This was very new at the time. And we've been doing this now for so many years. So in that report, John Quinones' level of oxidative stress reduced 45% in just 9 days. And in that, the scientist said that he could not decipher the blood of an 80-year-old from that of a newborn. And so that is what started a flurry of peer-reviewed research. Next slide, please. That started right after that aired from the likes of Harvard, the American Heart Association, John Hopkins, and I'll let Dr. Melody speak more to that. But what Protandim NRF2 does is it is like turning on the fire hose in every room of the body where there's a fire, right? When we're eating antioxidants, we're fighting free radical damage at a 1-to-1 ratio, but when we're activating that pathway, it's like it's fighting it at a rate of 1 million to 1 per second. So really phenomenal. And I'm going to turn this back over to you, Dr. Melody, because I know that this is your baby. I'd love for you to explain the ingredients of Protandim and the science of it and how we've evolved into our other Protandim products.
Oh, I so appreciate this. And thank you for giving me grace on this. on pushing the slides forward. So thank you for that. But this is what caught my eye, y'all. So when I was looking at how I can slow down the aging process, for my patients and for myself, I wanted to know how to reduce oxidative stress. I had been doing wound care at the time and had been doing IVs for my patients, and these were IVs of heavy duty vitamin C's, which there's a time and place for this. But when I found that, when I read through this, I watched that ABC primetime investigative report. I went to PubMed and I typed in Protandim Nrf2, and this was in 2014. There were only 12 studies for me to look at back then. Right now, if you do that tonight, there's going to be over 30 studies, and it's by the brand. And that was what really struck out to me, is because most of the time when my patients would bring me something and they would want me to see, is this something that I should use? I would go to PubMed, I would type in the supplement, and nothing would show up. And this was the first time that I typed it in by its name, Protandim, and there were 12 studies, 13 studies for me to already be reading. And I couldn't believe it, especially because it was all natural. So ashwagandha, bacopa, milk thistle, green tea, turmeric. And I thought to myself, I'm already recommending some of these ingredients. How were they able to patent this? Because you can't really patent an herb unless you make a proprietary blend that does something different than just taking it by itself. And so the first study was showing that it reduced oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and up to 70% with continued use. That is what caught my eye, and hopefully that'll be catching your eye here tonight as well. And so, of course, the clicker is not going to work now. So I'll click it this way. And so this is what I love about just keeping it simple. Our cells like to release their own antioxidants. And by taking Protandim Nrf2, synergizing, you are releasing your own antioxidants like catalase, superoxide dismutase, and the winner that most people know is glutathione. You're increasing your own production of glutathione by 300% every time you take this. And I like to call it an activator. Most people don't understand what an activator is, so we'll say a supplement, but this is in a category of its own called an activator. So we are doing this naturally. That is the key part here. And so, again, those of you who are like science, you can go to PubMed tonight. You can type it in by its name, and you can start reading the research that has been done by several universities. So it's not by the company itself. The first study was done by the company. Everything else has been done by other companies, and that's really important. And this is what Washington State University is saying that about NRF2 just specifically. Potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So this company with the Protandim is 20 years really ahead. I would want to say almost 30 years because of what was happening before it became kind of really in the spotlight. But this is where we talk about this little yellow pill starting it all. And it's truly important for you to understand that this pathway exists, that big pharma understands this pathway as well, and that they're stuck in trying to get products out that can do NRF2 activation. So the fact that you have something that's natural to do it is really the key part, and why I'm so passionate about continuing to do these types of webinar and teaching people about this pathway, because I believe that therapy and prevention from something natural is really key. And so what else can we activate? Well, we can actually help our mitochondria. How many people here tonight, I wish I could see all your faces right now, have heard about like ATP and mitochondria, and that we need them to be healthy. We need it to power all of our cells. And how about NAD right now? So many of you are probably going, I've heard of NAD. That one I do know. Maybe I had to remember from junior high what mitochondria were or are, but NAD I definitely know, because you might be taking it orally right now. You might be injecting it. You might be getting an IV. What if your cells, you could take something to help NAD production in your own cell? We do have that as well, to help balance it. And I threw this slide in. I'm very proud of myself. Can't believe it showed up, but I'm all about gene production and helping genes, they are going to be turned on or turned off properly. Well, what you can see here is the study that we've been able to do to show what we call the trisynergizer protandim NRF2, NAD, and NRF1. So that first slide that you or the slide just previously when I was talking about the three products, we call the three together trisynergizer. And what we're doing here are helping, and you can see on the bottom, helping antioxidant and detoxification genes. We are helping healthy inflammatory response. That's really key. A little bit of inflammation is telling the body where the fire is. A lot is where we have a problem. A little bit is fine. We need that to grow. Think about a diamond in the rough. There's got to be some pressure in order for something beautiful to come out, but we don't need to crush it. And then we need to help with metabolic genes, mitochondrial biogenesis, I already discussed, as well as the NAD pathway and cycling. The recycling pathway is the key. That's why some of you who might be taking NAD have felt like, I feel stuck. And it's because you're not recycling properly. So that is where I feel like we do have a difference here. And so I'm going to just switch gears because we did talk about being beautiful from the inside out as well as the outside in. How many of you are taking collagen right now and thinking, when are the results going to happen? Most collagens out there are just replenishing. You are just kind of taking amino acids and hoping that they are going to work properly. The key part, especially of doing this with NRF2, is we do have a patent. It is not patent pending anymore, showing that you are activating, you are replenishing, and you are maintaining collagen here. We are actually able to follow what is happening in gene expression, helping the genes that produce collagen, reducing the gene expression of degradation. And that balance, which is so key, is why you are seeing results. For those of you who are already on this, you can definitely tell me that you start to see the changes very quickly with this. Not only skin and joints and hair, which so many people just think of when they think of collagen, but our cells all need collagen in order to keep their structure maintained. And so this is really key here, and it's liquid. It's a once a day collagen, and it's amazing what we see. Let's see if I can show another. There it goes. So the benefits go below the skin for nails, for muscle recovery, for helping our joints, our gut. From mouth to bottom, you need collagen in those cells to help not only our bones, overall tissue repair, the eyes, the liver. I can go on and on. And so collagen support is really important here. And so in the first 8-week trial that we were able to do, you can see some of the results here. 100% increase in collagen density, skin roughness reduced by 10%, the depths of crow's feet reduced by 22%. Here's the key part, reducing one of those you want to help with your antioxidant production. So this is catalase. It was increased by 202%. And then you are seeing an increase in your skin elasticity. So this is just kind of looking at what's happening on the skin. Think about what's happening on the inside if this is the results that you're seeing on the outside. I think my PowerPoint might have gotten stuck here. Let's see. There we go. How about some pictures? I think pictures are amazing. And you can see the before pictures as well as at 14 days, as well as after 21 days and 30 days here. This is no Botox, no filler, no microdermabrasions here, without makeup, without touch up. And I just love that you can kind of look at the changes here. And again, I love pictures here. They say so much. And we have collages for those of you who want to see more pictures. And then let me see, Isa, I think I tried to hide these and it looks like they didn't get hidden. Let me just briefly talk about a few things. We can activate the brain. So we have a healthy brain energy. We can activate the gut to help peptides. And this is the picture I was trying to get to. So we can activate different systems in the body. So per tandem NRF2, reducing oxidative stress, which is key to cellular health. Then there's collagen. We're activating at that cellular level as well. We have a system to help increase GLP-1 naturally from your L cells in your gut, as well as a P84 system that's helping that microbiome balance, activating other peptides that are inside of your gut. So just those of you who we might be going, you might be saying, oh, that sounds interesting. We have other lectures on this. We really wanted to just mention NRF2 as well as collagen on this webinar tonight. And so there's some of those systems that we just talked about. And then I'm going to turn it back. Actually, I'll just leave it on this slide for a minute and then have Isa jump in. Why I think it's so important that you kind of know about some of the systems that we talk about is just like tonight. Some people on this might be my patients, or have met me sometime in my aesthetics, business, or had a personal invite from me to this. Some of you have no clue who I am, and I'm so excited that you're on this. You might have been invited by Isa or someone else on this webinar. The key part about this is I can only see so many people in my practice every day. But what I can do are webinars like this that go on and teach and train others, as well as share what is available for you to use for better health. And so until, I cannot speak anymore, I will always do something like this. And so I do sit on the medical advisory board, and it's because of this. I want to get the word out that there's more than just medication out there, that there are things that you can do to promote health inside your body. And so with that, we're going to kind of talk about why, like, Isa and I are doing this together tonight, and why it's so important that we continue to speak and do this, because it's just an amazing opportunity in order to grow a community that cares about making the world healthier.
Great job. I love listening to you, Dr. Melody, and cellular health. Just hearing you affirm that cellular health is everything. And so we are LifeVantage and we are the activation company, and this is our focus. And, when I think about incorporating this into my practice 10 years ago, I I didn't know anything about sharing in this way. I didn't know anything about network marketing, but what I can say is that I was an incredible networker. I loved it. I loved that people would come to my business. They moved here from out of state and they'd say, which dentist do you use? And which massage therapist do you use? And where do you get your nails done? And what's the best restaurant in town? And so this is what we do. We are all, and we've seen it even more now, network marketing coming into play with social media. That's people utilizing their network, whether you're a real estate agent or a new business or whatever. So when I saw this and really saw that this could be something that I could really create some leverage and some time in my business, I was all in. As I mentioned, I was introduced to LifeVantage by my friend Marisa. You can keep going there, Melody. My friend Marisa, who was a client, she came in as a client for a brow wax, and LifeVantage had just come out. We had Protandim at the time, and we had just come out with our True Science skincare line, which is NRF2 activation, same science for the skin. And Dr. Melody and I are going to be doing another presentation on this very soon. And, I didn't know, I'd never heard of NRF2 activation. And so I kind of took this information, put it in my back pocket, What Marisa did not know was that I was a very stressed out business owner and I had become a new mom at 42 and I was trying to find a way to get more time in my life. So what I did, the solution for that being the business owner was hire more employees. And then that came with a lot of stress of payroll taxes and just different things. I also started to see the retail model really shifting. I was heavily retail based in my small town. And I started to see people going right to websites, just like we do now, where they wanted that makeup line that I would carry. And they'd say, well, I'll just order it online and have it delivered right to my house. And I started to see that and realize that I was not the leverage. What I thought was the leverage was not. And so that was what made me really take a look at this when I heard about it again after Marisa introduced it to me. I was in Costa Rica leading a yoga retreat, and I saw another guest who's a leader in Life Vantage on my retreat, speaking with other guests about mitochondria and oxidative stress and such. And that to me was the most beautiful way of doing business, where you could be anywhere in the world that we have cell phone coverage or computers and we can operate a global business. So, why Life Vantage? If that business model appeals to you, that's wonderful. But why Life Vantage? Well, we are timely. We are the only activation company with these category changing products. We have an evolve compensation plan that works. It attracts both people who want to share an affiliate link, if you will, and then true network marketers that want to build a team and build that leverage. We have visionary leadership. We're financially transparent. We are publicly traded on the NASDAQ. And we have recently been written about in not only Newsweek magazine, but Forbes magazine as some of the life science companies to really watch. And people are watching what we are doing right now. We have a healthcare program because our company recognized that some people may want to do this as their job, as what they're doing, their main job. And so we have a home for everyone here. We call ourselves the And Company. So this is the perfect vehicle to have a business, a global business. We're in 26 countries, I believe. We have no inventory or assets. I love that as a skincare provider. No inventory that I have to have on the shelves. I'm just showing people the information and leading them to where they can dive more into it. We're headquartered in Utah, and we have a beautiful culture, beautiful community and only 60,000 consultants in the US. And so there is so much room for growth, and that is exactly what we're experiencing right now. Thanks, Melody.
Yeah.
And you can pass by that too. So we have
Okay.
that, we have that option, as I just said, you can share product, you can build a team, and you can also lead a movement. Our compensation plan is available on our website because we are publicly traded right at the very bottom. You can look at videos about the comp plan and see exactly how it works. But get back to the person that invited you to this tonight and get your questions answered, whether it's about the products or about adding this as another stream of revenue.
I
Thank you so
appreciate you
much.
seeing that. That second slide did not pop up, so you are awesome,
That's
Isa,
okay.
with that. But everyone, I just want to thank you as well for popping on. It's so important that you know what is available to you. I wish I would have known about this earlier, as well. And I do. I appreciate this is something without a prescription, that is benefiting, so many. And so with that, hopefully you've learned something tonight and you can share it with someone else about what else is out there, to better your health, to optimize your health. And I love the word activation because if you hadn't heard about it yet, hopefully you understand that key piece that you can activate at the cellular level your own like pharmacy of antioxidants to go reduce oxidative stress. So anyway, hopefully you learned something tonight. And hopefully this will be recorded and we can share it. If not, we'll make sure we have no technical difficulties moving
We're
on, and
good.
we'll do it.
We are recorded, and I think I'll stop the recording right now and allow people to ask a few questions if they'd like.
Yeah, that would be perfect.